The Confessions of Saint Augustine, Book 12, Chapter 25, following. Hearken, O God, you best judge, truth itself. Hearken to what I shall say to this gainsayer. Hearken, for before you do I speak, and before my brethren who employ your law lawfully to the end of charity. Hearken and behold, if it please you, what I shall say to him. For this brotherly and peaceful word do I return unto you. If we both see that to be true that you say, and both see that to be true that I say, where, I pray you, do we see it? Neither I in you, nor you in me, but both in the unchangeable truth itself, which is above our souls. Seeing then we strive not about the very light of the Lord God, why strive we about the thoughts of our neighbor, which we can't to so see, as the unchangeable truth is seen? For that if Moses himself had happened to us and said, This I meant, neither so should we see it, but should believe it. Let us not then be puffed up for one against another, above that which is written. Let us love the Lord our God with all our heart, with all our soul, and with all our mind, and our neighbor as ourselves, with a view to which two precepts of charity, unless we believe that Moses meant whatsoever in those books he did mean, we shall make God a liar, imagining otherwise of our fellow servant's mind that he has taught us. Behold now how foolish it is, in such abundance of most true meanings as may be extracted out of those words, rashly to affirm which of them Moses principally meant, and with pernicious contentions to offend charity itself, for whose sake he spoke everything, whose words we go about to expound. Chapter 26. And yet, O my God, you lifter up of my humility and rest of my labor, who hears my confessions and forgives my sins, seeing you commanded me to love my neighbor as myself, I can believe that you gave a less gift unto Moses, your faithful servant, than I would wish or desire you to have given me, had I been born in the time he was, and had you set me in that office, that by the service of my heart and tongue those books might be dispensed, which for so long after were to profit all nations, and through the whole world from such an eminence of authority were to surmount all sayings of false and proud teachings. I should have desired verily, had I then been Moses, for we all come from the same lump. And what is man, saving that you are mindful of him? I would then, had I been then what he was, and been enjoined by you to write the book of Genesis, have desired such a power of expression and such a style to be given me that neither they, who can't yet understand how God created, might reject the sayings as beyond their capacity, and they who had attained thereto might find what true opinions soever they had by thought arrived at, not passed over in those few words of that your servant. And should another man by the light of truth have discovered another, neither should that fail of being discoverable in those same words. Chapter 27. For as a fountain with a narrow compass is more plentiful and supplies a tide for more streams over larger spaces, than any one of those streams which after a wide interval is derived from the same fountain, so the relation of that dispenser of yours, which was to benefit many who were to discourse thereon, does out of a narrow scantling of language overflow into streams of clearest truth, whence every man may draw out for himself such truth as he can upon these subjects, one truth, another, by larger circumlocutions of discourse. For some, when they read or hear these words, conceive that God, like a man or some mass endued with unbounded power, by some new and sudden resolution, did, exterior to itself, as it were, at a certain distance, create heaven and earth, two great bodies above and below, wherein all things were to be contained. And when they hear, God said, Let it be made, and it was made, they conceive of words begun and ended, sounding in time and passing away, after whose departure that came into being which was commanded so to do, and whatever of the like sort man's acquaintance with the material world would suggest, in whom, being yet little ones and carnal, while their weakness is by this humble kind of speech carried on, as in a mother's bosom, their faith is wholesomely built up, whereby they hold assured that God made all natures, which in admirable variety their eye beholds around. Which words, if any despising as too simple, with a proud weakness, shall stretch himself beyond the guardian nest, he will alas fall miserably. Have pity, O Lord God, lest they who go by the way trample on the unfledged bird, and send your angel to replace it into the nest, that it may live, till it can fly.